anyone to be blamed? Kimber Vitalis, is there anyone to blame?
Yes.
Manke Venashus?
I sit on the fence, Vanessa. There's someone to blame and there is no one to blame. So I sit on the fence.
You sit
yes
on the
no?
fence, yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
And is there any way out of the situation? Venashus?
Yes, there is a way out of it.
Vitalis?
I think so. There's a way.
Coming up next, let us take the debate. You are all welcome back. In the first question, repeated exam fraud. Should anyone be blamed? That is what we are trying to find out in tonight's edition. Kimber Vitalis, I will begin with you with things that, yes, someone should be blamed. So this phenomenon, this habit of always having fraud in exams, if it is not questions that have leaked, you get to the point where somebody is found in the list where he was not supposed to be. In short, a lot of things happening as far as official end of year exams are concerned, be it in the English subsystem of education or in the French subsystem of education. We have exam fraud in one way or the other. This habit, who should be blamed, or what is going wrong?
Yes, Vanessa, good evening once more to all the televiewers. We will talk about official exams. We are talking about those exams that the students write at the end of their courses. Then we talk about fraud. Fraud is of various levels. Fraud starts from those who are setting the exams. Then we go to those who are handling the script. Then we go down to the supervisors who supervises the exams. Then we go down to teachers, and we go down to head of institutions. Yes, you know that the world has become so digitalized in such a way that it is very difficult to hide certain things. But I want to be very honest with you. There are some people who are selected to handle these exams, and these people, more often than not, they are not honest. When we talk about exam fraud, we talk about this. It's of various forms. Mm-hmm. We have question papers leaked to students before time. And we have in the phenomenon where during the writing of those exams, teachers, invigilators show students what to do or how to write the exams. So that's why I say many people who handle these exams, they are not honest. There are some people that when they have been tasked to handle, let's say, the question papers, most often they are not. They are either tempted by money proposed to them by some of these rich students who were sitting for exams to leak the questions to them. And once these questions are leaked to these students in exchange of money, since the world is so digital, they are forced maybe to transmit the questions to their friends. Mm-hmm. Before you know it, the questions are known all over the national territory. That is one aspect of fraud. Then the second aspect has to do with those who invigilate the exams, because there's a phenomenon, especially I've noticed in most private institutions, where for a school to score 100% is like a campaign for the school so that more students will come. Mm-hmm. In most cases, when students are writing exams, either the proprietor or the proprietress of the institution, sometimes he goes as far as giving bribes to the invigilator to allow students to collaborate so that his or her school can perform well. That is another form of exam fraud. Then another one is when students, they bring exam material to the examination hall. That is another aspect.
They bring
prepared answers to the examination hall. Mm-hmm. Yes. So this is something that has been occurring over and over and over. So I want to believe that if we have conscience and understand that at the end of our courses, we are going to use this certificate to work in one place or the other, we will allow our students to write what they know, so that the certificate that they have, we can have confidence in them. And I want to tell you, Vanessa, a practical example. I have one of my brothers. He met 1 year he finished just from one. Then the Anglophone crisis started. Then he went to Form 2, dropped out, came back, went to Form 5, wrote the GC and had 6 subjects. And I really, he's my brother quite well, but I doubted how he managed to come about making 1.5 years in the whole secondary school.
Practically from Form 1 to Form 5, and
Yes.
he wrote the GC and made it.
Yes. So those are the type of things that you see that our educational system is at the verge of collapsing.
Okay, Vitalis, probably you will finish your point, or you may contribute along the line when Venantius will be having his own part of the story. Mange Venantius, let us begin where he ended. In this case about his relative from Form 1 to Form 5, is it that he's excessively intelligent that he was able to make it, or what could be the possibility of him passing this exam?
Vanessa, it is no longer a secret that our educational system, the quality of our educational system is dropping by the day. Each year is passing, you see the quality of education dropping. That is why today you have people who come out from the university who cannot write a simple application. You have people who come out from the university with a degree, some with master's degree. You cannot have a simple coordination of English sentences. They don't know the difference between a verb. They don't know the difference between present and past tense. They just mix anything and it goes. So the question we are asking is, how did they graduate from school? That is the scenario that he's explaining. Those are the root causes.
Okay.
Yes. But then the idea of examination fraud is not a new phenomenon. If we are talking about it again today, I think we are drawing allusion from what happened with the French subsystem of education, with the baccalaureate and the probatoire. In that case, it is not fraud as such, but I call it malpractices. I call it cases of, they were not able to preempt or act according to the situation as they were supposed to be handled.
Okay.
When we're asking who should be blamed, I said I sit on the fence because there are people to be blamed and there are no people to be blamed at the same time. People to be blamed how? When we are in a system where appointments are made, there's some sort of compensation. We are not appointed, those who are handling exams in this country, they are not appointed according to merit. It is because if I have somebody who is somewhere in this country, I may be appointed to a position which I do not merit. Merit here is which I cannot handle.
Having the competence to do so.
Which ties down to what he was saying. Imagine this is a brother whom he is saying, who graduated, just studying in 1.5 years in a secondary school, has the ordinary level. You know, with this thing called evening schools now, you will go to lower 6, people write, the very child will write A-level in lower 6 and he will pass. That is 2-3 years in secondary school with an advanced level. These are the kind of people that we will take and then entrust the management of our examination board or system into their hands because they are connected. When they go there, there is this mess that we are having in our educational system. The simple situation is wrong people are in the wrong position. They don't know what it means to manage an exam.
I don't want to believe that it's not wrong to be in wrong positions.
Yes.
It's just a matter of being dishonest.
Yes.
Yes. Being dishonest.
That is the case.
Because people who handle GCE or other exams, like, you know, most of this fraud, they are coordinated by teachers, well-educated teachers.
Exactly.
Yes. For example, you go to a school where maybe you know the teacher is a renowned teacher. He had his certificate by merit.
Yes.
But they are the same people who encourage students to copy. To fraud.
That is exactly.
Because maybe they want to elevate the standard of a particular school.
That is exactly.
I have an example. One teacher almost confessed to me that during the common exams, one student failed in their school, 2 students failed in their school. They called their proprietress and told her that 2 students failed. The proprietors went to the marking center. And after some hours,
the children passed.
Yes.
Yes. So the whole issue here, when I talk of competency in managing exams, Kimbang, you will be surprised that there are well-qualified, experienced teachers who cannot manage exams. I had the privilege to get, I say, closer to those who are managing examination, perhaps the GCE board. And I understood the techniques that go with it. If you don't master the techniques, I remember at the beginning I said we are making allusion to what happened with the French subsystem of education. There are certain things that you have to preempt. If not, the exams will be late. If not, there will be malpractices in the various centers. They just need somebody who understands the techniques of managing an examination. You find somebody, because I am connected, they send me as a superintendent. In a school, I've never managed a GCE board. I don't know what it means to, not board.
Yes.
I've never managed a center.
center.
I don't know what it means to coordinate between the teachers, between the candidates, and the process of writing itself. I will be caught up in that mess. There is tension at all levels. You will understand that there are teachers with experience who do not know how to even, I take for example, the GCE, the English subsystem of education. They cannot draw a sitting plan. They need coaching to tell them that this is what to do, this is what to do. If teachers cannot draw the sitting plan, will the superintendent be able to coordinate the exams and handle every other documents that go with it? These are the things that lead to such type of mess.
Yes.
Those type of cases that especially what happened with the French subsystem. Vanessa, I'm not saying that the question of fraud is typical or late is typical to the French subsystem of education. When I wrote the advanced level 21 years ago, we had the question of fraud. We had the question of leakage. We had the question of late start of the exams. Because in the center where I wrote, exams started around 30 minutes, 1 hour later than 8 o'clock that was supposed to begin. Because the chief of center and the superintendent did not take preemptive measures to make sure that they go for the papers before going to bed the previous day. Some centers, they will think that, for example, in Douala here, you think that you will get up in the morning, cross in Bonaberi where we have the storage to get the question papers and come and start the exams. What happens if there is traffic jam along the road? Your center will begin late. But the superintendent, the chief of center who understands that I need to do this thing beforehand, will collect the question papers on the eve. And before sleeping, you know that at least my first papers are on hand. Before they start the first paper, you already moving to Bonaberi to get the papers in the afternoon session. In that case, you will
Mr. Mange, that
this.
one is equally very correct. But we are talking here in the event where in most cases, students know the questions before time. Then now, I want to remember, because I was saying about honesty. I remember when I was still a student in government secondary school, Jakiri, there was a famous teacher, one of my friend's teacher, whose wife was writing the GC honor level with the daughter.
Yes.
And he was supervising them. And they attempted to copy, and he wrote their names.
And sanctioned
and
to
they
be
were
sanctioned
suspended from writing GC.
Yes.
That is an example of such people that can handle the exams.
Exactly.
Not that he was so educated. He's a person of conscience. If you don't have
a man of integrity.
Man of integrity. Because the wife and the daughter thought that since it is our father and my husband, I could do anything.
Exactly.
But he said no. You cannot go like this. These are not exams. They're cheating.
It's fraud.
Yes.
So that's why I was saying that, Vanessa. Like he's saying, yes, the question of integrity plays here. Those who manage the board, they need to know that when it comes to exams, you make a difference between your private life and the exams. Because you are not playing with your own life, you are playing with the life of the candidates concerned. I said when we were writing the A-levels 21 years ago, we had to repeat history. I can never forget it. History paper 3, and we had to repeat economics paper 1. And the whole issue here was there was leakage. Now, when they said there was leakage, students forgot. They did not study. They were concentrating on the leakage.
The leakage.
Yes, and when it came,
like they'll tell themselves PECO.
Of course.
Yes, PECO.
Of course.
Out. Let us focus.
And that's where it leads me to the second part of this question 1, where I was saying that there are people to blame. There are nobody to blame. There's this tension that everybody wants to pass. Both candidates, like he said, both proprietors, both teachers. Because when you teach and your children fail, there's something wrong.
There's something wrong.
And there are some people. There are some people that are managing the exam papers that some of their relatives are writing.
Yes.
And they leak the exam to them.
Yes.
Maybe beforehand.
Yes.
Those are those.
And the excitement of I have the questions, we will not want to keep it to themselves. They'll forward it to a friend will forward it
because
to
I quite remember when I was in high school, my father happened to have been one of the teachers that was teaching us. When he is about to give me a test, student will come to me in the morning. Have you seen the question papers? Have you seen the question paper? So that is, if you are not strong-willed, yes, you will be forced to show your child or your brother or your sister the question before time, and before you know it, it is all. Now in this digital world, you don't need to take it WhatsApp it to another person. The person does it, and that's all. 10 minutes.
So
Conclusion?
Yes. So that's why I think that if we have those who are those who have a personality to safeguard, those who are running our examination board. That is why I started by saying that it should not be because I am this. No, it's somebody who has a dignity, who has a name, who knows that there is any reason to evaluate these children for their own future. They will not attempt, because when you do like that, you are killing the child. You are not preparing the child for anything in the future. So I think that if we have to have those who understand what it means by evaluation, those who understand the impact of the fraud on the candidate, the impact of the falling standard of our education in this country, I think that the question of fraud.
Yes, the question of fraud. Let me tell you something. Fraud, as I said, when you look at it, it is something that it runs through many layers.
It's a chain.
Yes. I remember when I was working in Do, I had my student was schooling in my friend's school. I have my two boys. I know their capability. At the end of the year, all of them were first in their class. I did not say anything. The next coming year, I just went and withdrew my children because I know that
it's because of your friend.
Because he's my friend.
Yes.
And I withdrew the children, and I went to junior school, and he was shocked. I want to believe. See, it is like we are not saying that the French people are bad, but I've seen cases where a woman will come to school and give bribe for a teacher to promote or to give good marks for a child in class 2 or class 1.
And that is when they start writing exams, they tell you parents should never come to the center.
My daughter was the first in class.
Yes. So that during prize award ceremony, when they call the China, she will get up proudly to go and take the prize. But she does not know the that is where we come to.
That's where we come to a situation where I say nobody is to be blamed, because there's still no tension that everybody wants to pass. Everybody wants to be at the front seat. Yes, that is why even during normal teaching period, you see parents come beside the class. Yes. Madam, la maîtresse, vous avez gardé. Oh, madam, please, this is for you. This is for you for what?
For what?
This is a certain kind of bribery, certain kind of corruption. Start corrupting the child from teaching.
I only appreciate a teacher after my child has left the class.
That's all.
That class.
Yes.
I can never give something to a teacher when
child is still in that class.
Because once you give something to that teacher, you're already corrupting the teacher.
Yes.
Because the teacher will make sure that since you are his friend or her friend, your child
if she gives or he gives a fail mark, then
we had a proprietary in Douala.
Gentlemen, let us take a second question. We are running out of time. So, facing these bottlenecks, Vitalis, what can we do to avoid this repeated fraud? Because every year in, year out, fraud is in one way or the other. It's not enough. So, what do we do to get out of it?
Now, for example, let me start from those who are handling the exams. Yes, they should make it in such a way that there should be, if the question paper leaks, there should be thorough investigation, and people can even be jailed and suspended from their jobs, so that it will give fear to other people. Because when we continue to sing every year, examination has leaked, and you discover that those who leaked the exams last year, they will still be the very people managing the exam this year. So they don't look at it to be something serious. Whereas if the exams are leaked this year and serious sanctions are taken against those people, I think the other people coming in will not repeat the same thing. Then, as concerns a proprietor of schools, I want to tell them that whatever thing they are doing to pupils, because there are some schools that they call them standard schools, and that when a child goes there, the child
standard school, school of reference.
Yes, school of reference. As if those who are teaching there, they are coming from the sky. The very curriculum they are using to teach in those two schools are the very curriculum that those who are learning in Karabot.
Anyway, let us accept the fact that there are some teachers who are extraordinary in their way of teaching.
Not that they must be in a standard school.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. If a teacher is extraordinary, a child is dull, that child is dull. Yes. So, teachers, people should handle education with conscience, because the backbone of every country is education. Once the education foundation is shaky, that country can never move forward in terms of development and everything. Yes. So, from the parents, I want to tell the parent that don't influence teachers to make your child succeed.
Teachers will be mad at you because you are directly telling the parents that please don't give that teacher.
No,
they'll be mad at you. Right,
they have salaries. I told you that I only appreciate a teacher after my child has come out of that
class.
class.
Actually, how far can our salary take us till?
Then I will say that we should legalize for so that they will have.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But they'll be mad at you at what you're saying right away.
No,
anyway, but
yes.
Parents are equally called upon, not in a subtle way, bribe teachers to favor their children.
Yes.
Very important. Mange Venantius, your point of view, what can we do?
Yes, Vanessa, as a way out of this situation, this is one of the ways that we can do, sensitize the educational stakeholders to understand that it is not because your school scored 100%, Vanessa, that you people are teaching well. People are of the opinion, which I share, that examination is not the true test of knowledge. Mm-hmm. Now, if like Mr. Kimang was saying, especially in the lay private sector, that is why you will hear when there are some schools that you move around. Perhaps in my own immediate environment, which is Douala here, you see names of children were written with pen on the wall. Mm-hmm. And when you look at it, maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, maybe these students, they don't even exist in this school. Mm-hmm. When they're registering, you don't hear the number. Mm-hmm. It is during the proclamation of results that you hear we scored 100%. The 100% syndrome is not equivalent to good teaching. One, proprietors, this thing called, I'm sorry, but this thing that they called evening school, from the moment that the government would put in some kind of strict measures on evening schools, we are going to cut down the level of this success syndrome. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how a normal school that functions in a normal working hours would expect me to study 2 years to write the advanced level, would expect me to study 5 years to write the ordinary level. Then somebody just gets to class. Well, it is enough that you go into an evening school and you do some crash courses.
And they're not even serious.
Well,
the number of hours that they put in that evening school is not up to the number of hours that you put in the normal school.
When do they study first? In the evening. When you must have worked, you are exhausted, you come and sit in this class, and at one point you doze off, and you are just, by 9 o'clock they close, they come back to the house. Mm-hmm. They will write the GCE and pass. Those who never started from Form 1. Are they trying to tell us that sending their child from Form 1, right, of 4 years to reach Form 5 is useless? Let me just leave my children. They just reach a certain age where they can withstand. I send them to evening crash course, two months, 3 months. They write the GCE all level and pass. And in lower 6, I think that the government should regularize the situation that if you don't study for 5 years, traceable,
yes,
you won't write the O level. And if you don't study for 2 years, you won't write the advanced level. If we take the other side of the French subsystem of education, the idea of the cacophony that existed in the organization of the exams, if the government doesn't sanction seriously those who are involved in this thing, it will continue. Kimbang started by talking of banning others and doing others. I remember I said I had the privilege to be besides those who are organizing the GCE examination. The same thing they used to tell us is, besides compromising the future of these children, you risk being imprisoned. But I think that we should go beyond talking about it. We should implement it, because if there is any when they proclaim results in August, you always hear that there are some centers whose results were withheld. Some students were sanctioned. I think that it should be two ways. If results are withheld from a particular center, all those who were involved in that center, something went wrong, they should be sanctioned. If students
you cannot sanction all the students, because I understand.
I don't mean all the students. In as much as you can sanction the student, think about the teachers too.
Yes.
Think about the teachers.
If you sanction the teachers,
who are handling the exams.
You sanction the student and leave the teachers.
There's something wrong.
There's something wrong.
Yes. And when there is,
if the teachers have done their work the normal way, no student will,
of course,
copy.
Yes,
there will be no fraud.
Yes.
And
when we said this fraud is a chain.
It's a chain.
Yes. If the government sits up, they can trace this.
I remember one school, one school in Kabikeng where a teacher copied and the teacher wrote on the board for student to copy, and it was a wrong answer, and that
everybody
failed.
Yes.
Correct.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for contributing, Mange Venantius. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Hope
Vanessa.
to have you some other time.
I hope when the
Invite
opportunity
Vitalis.
presents itself.
Thank you very much.
It has been a pleasure.
Thank you
Dear
very much.
televiewers, thank you very much also for your time watching Viewpoint on DBS television, especially to our faithful televiewers. From here, we draw the curtains out of the show to take a rendezvous for tomorrow. It will be another amazing moment. Goodbye.